in my opinion. Education is supposed to turn you into a productive member of society, and Americans are the most productive members of society in the whole world, right? And also, you could be like, "Oh, we are more educated." Well, where does your like computers were made by Americans, internet was made by Americans, so much of our technology, and Israelis, by the way, were made by Americans and Israelis. I mean, look at all the major tech companies in the world. All the major ones are American. So yeah. And when it comes to their bragging about their welfare and their social safety nets, that is possible because of America's military. All of that is possible in Europe because they were taking advantage of the security that the American military is providing to Europe. If Europe is a even if Europe is a half decent place to live, is because America saved them. America saved them in World War II and kept on saving them ever since. It's so smug, so ungrateful to America to judge America, not knowing everything that they are is because of America. I also, by the way, Aaron, I do want to correct something that you said. That when you say don't trust the Turks, you're talking about the leadership, right? You're not talking about the entire Turkish people. You're talking about the leadership,
So my
right?
experience is with their military in Afghanistan. I don't know how they recruit military. I don't know how their military works. I just say that the Turks never once were involved in any combat operations or shed any blood with us over there. And
Yeah. Well,
my interactions with them, they did not leave me with a trusting feeling. So I would say a lot of it's
yeah.
personal based
Okay.
off my interactions with their military force.
Okay. Okay. But just know that a lot of Turkish people are trying to change their government, and they're also struggling with their own, military force
Oh,
and
they have
government as well.
a
So
rich history over there too. So I know
yeah.
that they're
Yeah.
just people ultimately controlled by people. So
Yeah. Just wanted to get that right. Okay. Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron. BT?
They should make him, the meme that they make, where is that from, Star Wars? You mean this, right? And then right, and then I don't know if the meme, which meme I'm talking about. Anyways, if you know, you know. But okay.
Okay, so Jeffrey took my question, which made me smile and just felt wonderful. So nice to see that at one point I had the same mind as Jeffrey. Yeah, I just wanted to see how reliable it is, given that we know that they're paying family members and anybody else that they can to come on to obviously put on a uniform that doesn't belong to them. Armin, as well, I wanted to note to you, I sent you a message in school. Tal and I were speaking, and yeah, so if you could check that message, potentially do a collaboration, even something small, so that his audience can get a better idea of focusing on Pahlavi, what kind of is happening with MEK, just kind of an overview, because he has over 700,000 subscribers. And not that the information getting out isn't accurate, but a few videos that I watched, I heard a little comment like negative towards the Shah in
Right.
history,
Yeah, and also now that I have Sahar TV's email as well, maybe I should collaborate with both of them, both Tal and Sahar TV, right?
Sure,
Regarding,
sure. So Tal said that you should have his WhatsApp, but to give
I
it to
do.
you in the event that you don't. Okay, great. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
thanks.
Thank you. Can you remind me again if I don't respond to you, because I just checked my inbox on school and it's like, what the hell? I just got this to 0 yesterday.
May I jump in because I'm going to get out of the call soon. This is similar to BT's question. I want to restream much of what you do on Atheist Republic on my channel so I can be like your megaphone with my comments. And I get a copyright strike when I do that. Do you need to add me to like some kind of allow list?
No. You're not getting that from us. You're getting that from the music that Goldie is playing. I'm getting that as well.
Okay. So but I think it's possible I
But
check ChatGPT.
we have given up the monetization on the stream because of all the music that Goldie is playing, right? So we're not getting a copyright strike. We're getting a demonetization because it's allowing we're not issuing a copyright strike on your channel. It's just the people, the owners of the music that Goldie is playing.
Fully block one of your videos the other day, though. It's completely black and it won't play.
I just went and removed the part.
Beautiful. Okay.
To that blocked it. That was, I don't know which one. I think it was the new song that Goldie played. The one that is, I forgot what it was. But there's a new song
The
that one
Pish.
got us blocked.
No,
No,
I
no,
don't
but
think it's
peace for
that
America.
one.
Yeah, yeah. That's one American one.
Okay, so let's move on to Daniel. Daniel Dom.
Daniel.
Hello.
Is somebody
Hear me?
speaking? The audio is very low. Daniel, your audio is so low.
Just a sec.
No, we can't hear you, Daniel. Can you try to figure it out, and I'll circle back to you, the next
All
person.
right,
Okay.
let's move to the next person and we'll come back to you.
Shy.
Hear me
He
now?
just pushed. Okay, so did you figure it out,
Daniel.
Daniel?
Yeah, I figured it out, but thanks. I just wanted to like say on the Artesh matter when we passed this topic already, but I just think that those might be some other like IRGC or somebody just wearing their uniforms.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I think that was
When
that
Jeffrey.
what Jeffrey implied gently. Yeah.
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 Yeah, well, more than it. Hope it all will work out somehow. And just hard to wait when the main event is going to take place.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Daniel.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Daniel.
Good evening.
Okay, so I had two quick points. The number one point that I have is you and Goldie talked briefly about Roger Waters. And I paid attention to one point that I think that you need to pay attention
Do
close.
context to people so you know what you're.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what basically happened, guys, is Roger Waters was a host at Piers Morgan, and they started talking about Iran, and Waters chose to spit out IRGC propaganda, whatever they say there. He said back at the show. Now, my point is, what I noticed is that I don't know if you paid attention and saw the way that he described what's happening in Iran. He described basically a corrupt attempt for a coup from the inside, paid by a foreign nation or propagandized by a foreign nation. Basically, what the Soviets used to call active measures. What the left is doing in the universities and so on, but he's not saying it. He's saying, you need to cover it in your show. Pay attention very slowly to what he says, what he describes, but he trying with all his might not to say like the left or anything that can focus your attention to say, hey, wait a minute, what he's describing sounds pretty freaking familiar. You spoke about the enemies of Iran, that you will remember the people who are against the Iranian people. And so what I wanted to ask you is, it's either Russia or China who provided the IRGC with the jammer of Starlink. Will it affect relationship with either one of them if they were found guilty and behind it?
Well, Princess of Pahlavi has said that we are going to be trying to maintain good relationship with every country. So I think the way when it comes to relationships, we have to separate the state and the nation. So the state has a duty to try to maintain a good relationship from the start with every single country that is out there. However, obviously, the people will have negative views. The Iranian people, on average, will have negative views towards Russia, towards the Russian government, towards the Chinese government, towards the French government, very much against the French government, towards the the UK government. And I'm pretty sure in a democracy, the negative view that the Iranian people have over the states that betrayed them will somehow translate into politicians also having some negative views, because if people have a negative view, the best way to get elected is to also demonstrate a negative view. So we might see some difficulties with our relationship with these countries because the Iranian people won't forget what these countries did, especially France, by the way. So yeah, this is going to be, it will create some friction.
Sorry, I missed what France did.
What'd you say?
See what?
I missed what France did specifically.
Oh,
France brought Khomeini. Khomeini's plane came from France. France hosted Khomeini and basically provided him with all the propaganda that he needed to make the Islamic Revolution happen. So the Iranian people have never forgotten Yeah, he landed in Tehran on Air France. Wasn't it on Air France? I think it was Air France.
And Macron didn't denounce what's happening in Iran.
Yeah,
Nothing.
yeah. To this day, this is why some Iranian people, I mean, I don't condone this, by the way, some Iranian people think France deserves to be taken over by Islamism because that's what they did to us. So they want France to actually experience the taste of its own medicine.
France has nukes. It doesn't matter what they deserve. They have nukes. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm
kinda.
not saying, that's why I say I'm not condoning that at all. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of innocent French people that had nothing to do with that, so I don't want them to suffer under Islamism. So I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I'm just saying some Iranian people are like, yeah, you did this to us, now this is happening to you.
Jeffrey?
By the way, for people, I just saw some new people coming here. So if you're new, if you want to talk, there's a reaction button at the bottom of the screen. And if you click on it, then you could click this raise hand button and then you're able to speak. All right.
But
Jeffrey.
keep in mind that the conversation is recorded, so if you wish to stay anonymous, do not raise your hand.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jeffrey's here.
Jeffrey?
Oh yeah, I was going to touch on some of the points that were brought up. So Aaron brought up the issue of how like Western European allies kind of like how they view things. A lot of that has to do with the corrupting influence of affluence and third generation effect, which means societies get softer, that are living in a relatively much more like abundant kind of life, get a little soft. That's combined with leftover legacy remnants of Soviet active measures waged within and against the United States and our Western allies during the Soviet era of the Cold War, which Ozzy had mentioned. The impact of that regarding universities, because we're talking about, we're disproportionately targeted by Soviet active measures, and that resulted in institutional capture of those institutions via radical leftist ideology that's both anti-American, anti-Western in nature. And that institutional bias operationally manifests itself via focusing curriculum away from STEM fields that directly contribute to relative non-comprehensive national power, like what goes on in Israel. It's how it approaches education towards accreditation and grievance studies that center on kind of like this neo-Marxist ideology and has led people to hate the very nation that they live in. I mean, it doesn't mean we don't need universities, rather they have to be liberated from the institutional capture they currently suffer from. And when you think about that, institutionalized left-wing bias almost and the subsequent throngs of people that said ideologically biased universities just pump out by the tens of thousands, and the overlap, or let's say the marriage of convenience, the strategic marriage of convenience between leftism and radical Islamic fundamentalism is probably some of the ways why the Mullah regime is somewhat gun shy to go and make public statements hostile to the left, because he's viewing that as, say, internal political dissonance in the United States that might undermine our ability to carry out what we're going to carry out. Probably not, although that might be what he's thinking. As far as Turkey is concerned, and this again underwrites the importance of why we have to support Iranian protesters and or the Iranian resistance to the Mullah regime. And this is to Aaron, because I'm also a GWAT guy, although I was deployed at ground zero. For the past 12 or 15 years, Turkey has been dealing with unbelievable amounts of insecurity flows from northeast and southeast of its border, which has tragically resulted in the reality that the days of Prince Turk Atatürk are long gone. Part and parcel of those insecurity flows, the Mullah regime, while it's not directly supporting all of that, like to a very large degree, they definitely facilitate it via allowing those people to, move their way through Iran, Mullah occupied Iran into Turkey, though.
Yeah. By the way, mentioning Ataturk, this is why I don't want to be a generalized to Turks, because we Iranians remember how big of an ally Ataturk was to Reza Shah, and how much Reza Shah was inspired by Ataturk when it comes to modernizing Iran. And it's such a shame that Turkey has moved away from the direction that Ataturk had set for Turkey.
Sorry, I was but yeah, because they voted in a guy who was studied and brought up by the Muslim Brotherhood. Let's move on.
Yep.
Richard?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up a couple of points as some issues we discussed earlier. So Greenland, one of the main points that doesn't get discussed very much in the American media is the northern Arctic shipping lanes, which are opening. And Greenland is going to be essentially geopolitically the location where those lanes are regulated from. Keeping American dominance there and keeping out China and Russia is extremely important for future international shipping. The other point was about something someone mentioned about support for the Kurds in Turkey. So I did want to mention that one of the justifications that Erdogan has been using for meddling in Syria and basically trying to annex parts of it is they don't recognize the border lines, the Sykes-Picot lines in Syria that were basically imposed on the Ottoman Empire after World War I by Britain and France. So that's not the same situation as Turkey's eastern, natural mountain border with Iran, which predates, or at least was negotiated in the Ottoman Empire, as if Erdogan needed more reasons not to support the Kurds or mess with the territorial integrity there. That would be another reason not to do that.
Thanks, Richard. Samantha? Samantha?
Yay,
Hold
Samantha.
hold on. Sorry, I was just talking to my Abba. He got me a falafel.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
But okay, so I wanted to say though, yeah, Roger Walters, very crazy. He was on Piers Morgan back in like 2024. So like keep in mind, this is after the November hostage exchange. I could probably find the video if I looked for it. I think it was like in April-ish. And he was saying in 2024, after the November hostage exchange that took place, that like he doesn't believe Hamas took hostages on October 7th. So this is the level of insanity we're dealing with. I mean, like dear Lord. So
He's cuckoo,
yeah,
dude.
I don't know.
He kind of repeated that conspiracy theory again this time on
Oh,
Piers
really?
Morgan. Yeah, he did. He repeated it.
Because it's like when you say something that absurd, it's like, come on, man. Like, how do you not?
That interview was a disaster. I mean, I saw that when it aired. I mean, he came off as, I would say, major league insane. I mean, Pierce was incredibly tolerant with him, considering the issues that he brought up.
Yeah.
The problem is that he actually represents a whole, like a huge, like it might sound, I mean, it sounds insane because it is, but you do have to understand that he's not alone, that he's actually echoing a lot of people's opinions online. And yeah, but go on.
Okay, so Uncle, we have Uncle. Can't hear, man.
Can't hear.
Nothing.
Si-
Figure it out. I'll circle back to you. Okay,
Circle
can't hear
back.
you. Okay. So from the people who didn't spoke, Cat Lady.
I came in a bit late, but so I don't know if you already spoke about it, about Roger Waters. I don't know if people know, but in Israel, he's one of the most hated artists because he has history of being very disrespectful to us. He booked a show in Israel only to stand on the show on stage and speak against us. It was
Wow.
Yeah, he
this
didn't
show.
play.
Yeah, he didn't play music. He just spoke against us as people who came to pay for his show. This I don't want to curse, but and he is actually I saw interview with a member of the band which he was like in the past. I can't remember the name, even though Pink Floyd, right? So I saw a member speak that he has very old, very deep anti-Semitism problem. He really is hateful, specifically, and also cuckoo all the way, and abusive also.
Just wait for enough stories to come out of Iran. I'm telling you, he will feel like an idiot because it will collide with his lefty virtue signaling thing, and then he will write a song about Iran, and it will be a horrible song, and nobody will like it. And you know how it works.
These people never get embarrassed. They always, I've noticed, they always find a way to show that their BS is right. Like they always come up with a flexible, like they're very, I mean, they live in a parallel universe. They live in their own reality. And if you think like, oh, wait until they see this, then they will realize. Nope, they will come up with a justification for why they were correct from all the way.
The idea that
Oh.
the Jews are evil and they're the cause of all the evil things in the world, that's a completely flexible idea that can be used to explain absolutely anything.
his father died in World War I, and he's blaming the Jews for both of them.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Is there anybody that hasn't spoken yet? Because I need to
No,
go. I
no.
have an interview.
You're free to go.
Ooh,
Okay.
who are you interviewing with? Can you tell us?
I actually don't know. They got somebody from forgot the publication's name, and it's from a print publication, I think. I forgot because I forgot. I'm gonna have to ask him
Must
once it
now.
starts.
You
Yeah.
need an agent.
Yeah.
Yes, Uncle Coping did. Yeah, I need. Yeah, guys. Does anybody want to be my agent? I can't afford an agent like Goldie does. No, no, Jeffrey, this is not. By the way, Uncle Coping, there's a weird background noise coming from your microphone. So if you're not speaking, like, but we're not hearing you. Yeah, we're not hearing you. We're just hearing like this really sharp, weird noise. So, all right, guys. I'm gonna stop the recording here.